Dr. Rick, and today's unboxing is on Chill. This is a product by 1906, a good company that you can find in most dispensaries in Illinois. These are considered edibles because you don't smoke them, you have to eat them, and they come in tablet form. I did do a video on 1906 products when they first arrived. Pretty cool packaging and novel idea with regards to taking a pill and trying to get the benefits of the plant in your system. And why would you want to get the benefits of the plant? This is going to be a mini tutorial on the immune system. Medical cannabis plant, everybody knows that if you try to get THC in your system, eventually that THC, or tetrahydrocannabinol, will get to the brain and its receptors and affect the way you think. It usually will get you relaxed. THC is known to have a psychoactive effect. You can modulate that and time it right, and you don't have to necessarily get high, but if you microdose this product, whether edible, inhalation, topical, you should be able to get relaxed without being incapacitated. The days of Cheech and Chong were just sitting out on a couch and watching Netflix and eating a lot of popcorn. That's moving away because I have a lot of smart patients that are using it to their advantage while still being productive. Medical cannabis has been around for a long time. It's now coming into the limelight because of the data that's being released. Not really by the US because it's considered a Schedule I drug or substance, but outside the US, especially Israel. University of Tel Aviv is equivalent to our MIT, and they have a ton of information that shows benefits to different parts of the plant, whether it's cancer, autoimmune disease, or just medical disease. I suggest that you do some research. Don't be remiss if you can't find anything out of the US. There's a lot of data coming out of other countries, including Canada and the UK. See, I still like Avexia. This is Avexia Relief, 14:1. I did do a video on this in the past. And pound for pound, it did give a dose of CBD without having to smoke or take tincture or put an application on of cream. But it comes out to about 5 milligrams per tablet, which is fair, but it's an approximate. Chill, which is about the same, 20 tablets for $36, and that's 20 doses for about $36 to $40. But each tablet here is a bit different. Let me just show you how it looks. Hold on a second. And here's the unboxing, just like that. So it is kind of a big tablet. This is not chewable. You have to swallow this, but that's a big tablet. And if you take one of these, it's equal to 25 milligrams of CBD. There is a little bit of THC, but the proportion of THC to CBD here, I do not think that you will get high with it. I think it's more for my patients that need immune boosting. And why would anybody need immune boosting? If you look at infection, whether it's influenza, COVID, autoimmune disease, Crohn's disease, irritable bowel syndrome, you have a span of severity. Let's take it this way. Let's just make it very general with regards to the current state of the infection or pandemic. At this point in time, everybody's going to be exposed to that virus, no matter what. Think about the age distribution. If you're healthy and young, the likelihood is you're going to do okay. You're not going to die or have a major long hauler condition. If you're extreme, not extreme, but if you're mature and old and your immune system's a little bit taxed, you might not fare well just because we depend on the immune system to fight a nasty infection. And when your immune system is busy or older and slow to respond, you might not be able to mount a response. And when that happens, you'll succumb to the effects of the cytokine storm and other issues, secondary infection. That's in general. And then you have people in the middle, and of all the people in the middle from 18 way up to 60, their survivability depends on the amount of diseases that they have. No matter where you are, 18 to 60, if you have a lot of comorbid conditions, you will almost be in proportion with the older folks. If you have very little comorbid conditions, then you'll probably be more like a younger person. And I think that ultimately that is the expression of youth, is a strong immune system, decreased comorbid conditions, and a feeling of energy all the time, and bulletproof enthusiasm. We have to be careful. We're not addressing the medical conditions and comorbid conditions. We're all talking about ivermectin or vaccines or masking, but this window of patients that have a lot of diseases, you can take this group and decrease the bad outcomes tremendously by addressing comorbid conditions. Obesity, diabetes, high blood pressure, cholesterol issues, impending heart problems, gut problems, or just poor eating, sedentary life. I think all those things make a difference, but you haven't really heard anybody talking about them. except for non-physicians, believe it or not. Because maybe the physicians are too busy with the debate, but the non-physicians, they only go for what they know, and that's exercise and nutrition, because that's the only bullets that they have, and most of them are doing okay. It's going to be endemic at this point, because I think all of us will be exposed. The likelihood of surviving without any long symptoms is better if you have less disease. So please work on your disease. If you don't know how to work on decreasing your diseases and getting off your medicines and reversing aging and getting youthful again, subscribe to my channel, my YouTube channel, or look for me on Facebook or Instagram. I'll put the links down below. This is a schematic about what your immune system is like. I'm going to get to the unboxing and the ideas, but the immune system essentially is two types, adaptive and innate. Innate you're born with, and there's a bit of protection that mom gives you through the umbilical cord before you even take your first breath. That's cool. Thank you, moms. And there's also the adaptive one where we learn as we get exposed to stuff. There's a sterile theory that if you clean too many things for a young person, they might be challenged immunologically later on because they never got exposed to strep throat or bacteria in food, and they might have a big problem with being overwhelmed later. I think we all get exposed and we learn to fight diseases. This coronavirus is a novel disease, but because all of us will be exposed to either the shot or the infection sooner or later, I think that our human immune system is learning to adapt to it and fight it. So that's a good thing. But I think an unmentioned hero is barrier. Skin, lung, gut, because the barrier, if it's intact, will protect us too. And we belittle that so much. We destroy the lung by inhaling crap and smoke and diesel fuel and fumes, tobacco. We destroy the gut by eating crappy food, pesticides, not caring about, I'm just going to have another round of antibiotics and not rebuild the lining or the microbiome. That's very important to keep the microbiome healthy, keep the gut slimy, and also have some regularity with your eating, your meals. When you eat crappy food, when you have too much alcohol, when you imbibe too many desserts, that stuff does not really help the immune system or the muscle or the reproductive system, and it just is comfort food. But if you're doing more comfort food than healing food, you're going to be walking into this high risk group. So please try to throttle what you're taking, especially in wintertime. We got Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, Hanukkah, and then New Year's. That's 4 big holidays coming up, and if you are caught with your pants down, you're going to be exposed to a lot of sugar, a lot of simple carbs, a lot of alcohol, so watch it. These basically are what you will find in the immune system. If you keep your gut healthy, then great. If you're already in the crap, so to speak, and your gut is irritable bowel or you have reflux and you're taking medicines, fine. But I wouldn't say just continue your medicines. I'd say fight, heal, and seal the gut, and then get off the medicines and stop the reflux. I think there's still an option to return the gut, the skin, the lungs back to their original youthful condition. It might take a long time, but I think it's still possible. In fact, muscle is the prime example. I'm kind of diverting, but even though you're old, even though I'm old, I'm 59 going on 60, I'm intending to bank some muscle now to build it up. I've been trying to do that since I was 18, actually. Build it up so that I can do my 60 to 70, 70 to 80 year decades without too much of a hiccup. I'm hoping if you bank muscle that it'll serve me later. That's what I'm asking everybody else to do. Why? Because locomotion keeps you out of stagnation, and it's two opposite issues, but if you have stagnation, I think it's going to be weight gain, joint pain, immobility, depression. If you move, the world is at your hands. So mobility is really important to be a component of independence. And if you don't build up muscle, you're going to lose mobility. So I'll leave it at that. However, the reason I'm bringing this up, and especially bringing it back to edibles as being a good source of getting CBD, the gut houses 70% of your immune system, the gut, the small intestine especially. GALT, gut-associated lymphoid tissue. That's because of all the barriers. You got the skin, it's a barrier. This is fine as long as you don't burn yourself. Burn victims tend to get septic because they allow bacteria to get through the skin barrier. As long as your skin is okay, they're cool. As long as your lungs are okay and you're not smoking, you're cool. The gut is constantly exposed 3 to 4 times a day to different foods and different bacteria in the foods and different pesticides in the foods. So if your gut is poorly developed or worn down, your immune system is going to be taxed. So those of you with IBS, Crohn's disease, ulcerative colitis, reflux, I think it's important for you to pay attention to the food that you're eating, but it's also important to consider sprinkling your food or your meals with CBD. Now, you don't have to sprinkle your actual meal with CBD, but you have to get CBD into your gut at least once a day. So this is how I'm bringing it all back to this. 1 tablet daily is 25 milligrams. 1 tablet twice a day is 50 milligrams. That's a lot of milligrams of CBD. And if you can only afford the Relief 14-to-1 by Avexia, that's fine too. It's a little bit less. If you take a tablet twice a day, that's like 10 milligrams CBD. Again, I probably butchered that. But in general, that's the scope of my talk today, is get CBD in your system, expose your gut immune system to CBD, and it'll get in the system. It'll help repatch or heal and seal the gut, and then the CBD will get into the bloodstream and then start helping the immune cells. That's where CBD's power comes, is the immune system gets modulated, supported. Lymphocytes, I think we all know, that's part of the innate immune system, T cells and B cells. B cells technically are part of the adaptive immune system too, but these cells go out and kill stuff, and they expose cancer cells. These guys are like there's an old movie from the 60s where Raquel Welch and Donald, I forgot his name, but they were shrunken down into a small craft and put into a man's body to help take care of a tumor or a bullet or something of the president. Forgot the name of that. But there was a blob at the end, a dendrite, when the explorers were in the brain tissue and they were burning a clot or something. And right as they're about to beat the clot, this big white blood cell comes and eats them, blob. But that's what these guys are. Monocytes, macrophages, dendritic cells, and mast cells. They all just attack viruses, bacteria, parasites, and they engulf them, they eat them, they dissolve them. And that's so cool that you have a part of your immune system that does that. If the immune system is working, if the immune system, especially when 70% is in the gut, is busy because you're eating crappy food or you're exposing yourself to lead or you're having too many pesticides or hormones or antibiotics, these won't work. If they don't work, you get exposed to COVID, influenza, E. coli, Giardia parasite in the water. You won't be able to fight. If you can't fight, you get infected. If you get infected, you fall into the older age group response. So you see how I think, bringing it around, this might help in addition to being healthy, getting rid of your comorbid conditions, and keeping your barriers intact. So that's my bottom line here, is hopefully this gives you an idea about not only a new product available for you that will probably not get a high. Everybody's a little different, but the amount of CBD is so overwhelming that the THC is so limited. The CBD concentration will overrun the THC and most likely stop you from getting high. But everybody's a little different. City miles vary. It's important to understand the concept. That's why I made this busy chart. But it's also important to just sit back. The 30,000 foot view is take care of your comorbid conditions. Try to distance yourself, stay healthy. And if you are getting vaccines, good for you. If you're not getting vaccines, please at least follow the FLCCC's vitamin protocol and consider having some ivermectin. And I did a video on that too. So hopefully this gives you a couple of ideas. Share this with other people who are unsure about using medical cannabis or CBD or the immune system, or they're not trying to get rid of their medical problems and they're just waiting. Maybe this will inspire them. Otherwise, I'll see you at the next video. Thanks for watching.